Welcome at Cave OK Racing Network. Another race today under the Sunday night Skippy League flag. This time we're all across the ocean to England. We're here in virtual Norwich, which is roughly a 2-hour drive from London. My name is Pim Lut and my co-commentator for today is of course Peter Lee. Peter, welcome.
It's great to be with you, Pim. Looking forward to a really interesting race. I think a tough race for these guys. Long track and some pretty treacherous corners.
Yeah, I've been doing a couple of laps and I find it it looks very easy, but when you drive on it, there are some really tricky corners up here. You can lose definitely quite a bit of time on those ones.
Yeah, well, some of these folks are running really fast laps. A fast lap here is in the 2:06 range. There are some top guys in Sunday Night Skippy that are even hitting into the 2:04s. But really, I think the people who will finish well here are the ones who can do solid, consistent 2:07, 2:08 laps without spinning. And there are several corners on this track that can really catch you out if you're not careful. And so I think the thing to watch out for is who can keep it straight, not swap ends as they get through some of these tricky corners.
Yeah, I know that's definitely going to be the case. But I'm curious about your timings because you're saying in 2:08 you need to drive up here in the Formula 2 round.
Well, I think the guys are out on qualifying right now, and we'll see what times they run. But in the Wednesday night practice race, to qualify near the top of the field in the Skippy Formula 2, you needed to be in the mid 2:08s. Now, the track today is a little bit warmer than it was Wednesday night. So the track temp is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. So maybe it'll be closer to 2:09, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of these guys in the mid or even low 2:08s.
Yeah, while you're talking, I already had a quick look. We're driving along with Jake Ashe, who has a big chance because I'm not sure if you have seen who's all available for today, but I miss Carter Stickney. Have you seen him already on the track?
Yeah. Well, I think we are in the doldrums of summer, and people are taking out their last chances for summer vacations before the fall and school starts, and so Carter is one of those. And that's important because Carter is right now leading in the season championship standings, and right on his tail is Jake Ashe. So obviously today's race is going to be a drop week race for Carter. And a big opportunity for Jake to make up ground on Carter for the season championship.
Yeah, maybe it's good to actually have a quick look at that standings, because you're right, Carter Stickney is on top with 2:37, but right over there is Rusty Pontenberg and Jake Ashe, both really close, and especially with him not driving, I foresee that we have a big chance of getting a different leader this time.
Yeah, and in fact, Rusty's just turned in the first of his 4 qualifying laps, up to 4 qualifying laps, and is on provisional pole with a 2:09.5. So he's looking pretty racy already. When if we look at the kind of corners here, what we will see as we follow Rusty around the track. And so Rusty's coming up on the back straight here. This is the so-called Bentley Straight. This is going to be one of the prime passing opportunities. You can catch a draft, but as you come to the end of the Bentley Straight, you hit this incredibly tricky set of corners. And called Brundle and Nelson right here. And this is where a spin can happen, but also where huge amounts of time can be gained or lost. And then as you come around the bomb hole here, and then this gigantic sweeping carousel called Coram, you come up to another incredibly tricky little finesse corner called Murray's, where you just go all the way down to second gear, and you just have to kind of swing the rear end around for the second long straight, the front straight, called the Senna straight. So, you know, on the back straight, you have this incredible opportunity, but also danger at the end of the straight, and then at the beginning of the front straight, you have another little tricky segment. And I expect whoever can hit those corners at the end of the back straight and the beginning of the front straight is going to have a very good chance of winning today.
Well, momentarily that was Rusty Pontenberg, but we see that Alan Paris has overtaken him, and he's now taking the lead. I think there's one more shot to go here. Really curious if they can even do faster than these laps.
Yeah, that's a great lap by Alan Paris at 2:08.8, which on cold tires, that's only his second timed lap. That's an outstanding time. By the way, you know, during the week on the Discord, as people were trying to come to grips with this track, this is one of those tracks also where the first few times you run it, you think you're just going at the limit, and you turn in something like a 2:11 or 2:12 time, and then you look at the top guys and you see that they're running, you know, sometimes in the 2:06s, even in the 2:05s. It really makes you feel like, what am I missing? And so it's one of those strange tracks where you just have to keep digging and digging and digging, and then you know, the lap time comes.
Well, and while you're saying that, we were looking here with Chris Daniel, who is the fastest on the first sector and is really fast on the second sector. So big opportunity for him to take that real first position. But he goes off over here. That was too bad, because there was a big opportunity.
Yes, and that is that Nelson and Brundle kind of corner combination at the end of the back straight, at the end of the Bentley straight. And yeah, trust me, we're going to see more of that. Those, you're just on the knife edge through those two corners. There's just nothing, no wheel on the Skippy that's going in the straight direction through those two corners.
All right, we have here Jack coming over the finish line. Is he gonna beat himself? No, he's not. He's 2:08 was his fastest time. So he keeps that fifth position. Well, he's going to the third position. All right.
Yeah, that was a great 2:09 flat.
Good evening, guys.
Oh,
Ian.
look at this. We're already wondering where our English expert was. We're here at Norwich, and Ian Worrell has just stepped into the booth. Ian, how are you doing? How was dinner?
Dinner was awesome. We had brought forwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, tell us all about that.
Oh, so no, yeah, it's we had some folks over for dinner last night, so there was some leftovers. We had those. We call those not leftovers, but brought forwards.
Nice.
It's just a nicer way of talking about the same thing.
All right, guys. We have a small pack, but it has finished with their qualification. We see that Alan Paris with a 2:08.7 is on pole position. Rusty Pontenberg really close next to it. And after that, we have Jay Cachet, Chris Daniel, Joe Subo, and Michael Smith. And after that, we have last Cal McCormick. So that's our pack. It's a quite small pack, but I could make it quite interesting for this race. So, any thoughts, guys?
Well, Chris Daniels is in the wrong place. I thought he would be nearer the front.
Yeah, I think it's anybody's race. You know, I think any of these people on the grid right now have the chance to win. I think it'll all be about consistency, keeping it, you know, avoiding spins. It is, you know, that treacherous of a track, especially in the early going.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at the track itself. So we've got about nearly 3 miles of track, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, with a track temperature of 97. So it's toasty out there.
Yep.
It's toasty. I
I'm
need to
curious
get you
what we're
guys-
waiting for. I see everybody is waiting for the green lights.
Yeah, well, they're on the grid.
Yep. They're probably having an extra long driver's briefing.
So, what would be mentioned in this driver briefing? What are the most precious things over here?
Well, you know, there are some hairpin corners. There are several, turn 2 and turn 4, where it's very inviting to dive bomb. And, you know, that's something that we don't really condone in the Sunday Night Skippy League.
The lights are up, boys.
Right,
Here we
Peter,
go.
Oh, here we go.
Alan is all alone on that front line. That's got to be a little bit of an advantage. Can go immediately to that outside.
You know, this is one of those tracks that really favors the brave, but not the too brave.
Yes.
You know, you've got to let that car slide. You've got to let it do what it needs to do, but you've got to just keep it under control. Yeah, that's the quick way round.
Looks like they all got through that first hairpin called Montreal.
Yeah, and of course tires are just cold lumps of rubber sitting
It
on
does
there.
look like, yes, looks like they're coming up now to the second hairpin, which is turn 4.
Yeah, they're getting around okay.
Yeah, it's they're playing very nice. It's already one big line up here with Adam Paris on the front. Rusty right behind him, and Chris Daniel also really close over there. I see Joe Zubu really having a quick look over there.
Now, as they come around here, around this last corner, they're coming on the back straight, known as the Bentley Straight. And, you know, it's going to be really important. Every driver here is going to be desperate to stay within the draft of the guy ahead. But it's dangerous because as you get to the end here, we get into this Brundle and Nelson skating rink of a corner complex.
Guys, did you see that move from Chris Daniel right over there? Took that inside line and is now already on the second position.
Yeah.
Rusty really got him over there.
Well, like I said, I was surprised to see Chris so far back in the pack and qualifying, but he's already up 2 positions into second. So that does not surprise me, and I have a feeling that if he can find a way around Alan Paris's car, he'll be away. And you can already see he's right up under his gearbox, getting that lovely draft all the way down the right. He's going to pick his time.
Yeah, and look up here, we see Carl McCormick taking that inside line. I think we're going to see something here with Joey and Kyle, because Kyle does appear to have a little bit more speed.
And Rusty is still right there. I mean, he is keeping himself on the back of Daniel really nicely.
Yeah, in fact, that top 4 group of Alan Paris, Christopher Daniel, Rusty Ponberg, Jake Ashe, they're really stuck together like glue.
Oh, you see nearly Jake making a small mistake over there, but he keeps his car.
For some reason, if you miss your apex in that corner, it gets so slippery, and so it's just very important to hit the right apex there.
Yeah. And Daniel's got to keep an eye out behind him because, of course, with Rusty that close behind him, 0.6 back, he's going to be well inside of the draft and could really challenge him coming down this back straight.
Yeah, and what do you think about Alan Paris? Because he doesn't have to worry about that. He can just go ahead.
You know, he's got to just keep it clean, don't make any mistakes. And you can see, Rusty closed right up on the back of Daniels and had to back out of it.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of momentum here on this carousel, but I think he'll be okay as long as he gets on the front straight.
Yeah, it's about 4 laps of this before your tyres really start to stick. and you can start to really push the throttle a little better and really hold on. But you've got to get that the last corner of the lap. You've got to get that right. Oh, and Jake is into the pits.
So,
Oh no, of course.
this is his undercut, and
his
so
really early pit stop.
Yep,
Holy cow! Now will this work?
we could have predicted this.
We could have predicted it, and then you don't predict it. That's the thing with Jake. Like, this is like, he immediately saw this. This was all Jake. It was too crowded.
Yeah.
He likes to be on his own.
Yep.
30.3 seconds elapsed for his pit stop. So,
The pit lane here is kind of weird because the pit lane itself is fine. It's kind of an uphill, which actually helps you slow down when you're entering. But when you actually want to enter into the pit stalls, it has these sort of lumps that separate each stall. And it's if you want to drive through that, it's a little bit of a bumpy ride.
but we've already got the top four as they exist now. Paris, Daniel, Ponteberg, and Schmidt are all running in the 209s, which is quite good. And in fact, Paris is continuing to put down the fastest lap. But third and fourth are actually running laps faster than second. And you can see that Rusty is right up on the back of Chris now.
Yeah, but I
Sorry,
do
Chris
see
is
that,
right on the back.
Chris is really close over there as well. And
Yeah,
I think that's the good position for Rusty. He's like waiting over there, looking what those guys are doing. Is Chris going to attack, or is Alan going to really defend hard? We're only third lap.
yeah. It's a really interesting set of races, and I think we'll see this as well in the next race we do, the SF1 race, because you need to think about where you actually want to be on the track. Do you really want to be in first place, or is sitting in second as the leaders dive into the pit?
Oh, and everybody goes into the pit now.
I guess they're
Look
trying
at
to-
this.
And
Trying to
I
block
noticed
off,
Jake was only 30 seconds adrift, so he might be able to come out in the lead. We'll see if this undercut works.
Jake is now coming around the big sweeper into the hard left-hander. Now.
Boy, it's
And
going to
he's
be
now
close.
on the back straight. And the other guys are at the pit exit.
Oh, yep. Looks like Chris Daniel is coming out first.
About 31,
Alan Pierce
32.
second. Odenberg third.
Yep. But Jake can see them in front of him now. And while they have got a little gap on him, he must have had a problem on one of his laps, because he should have come out. He should have been in front of Pointenberg.
Yeah.
Risky. He should
There
have
must
been.
have been a bobble on Jake's part somehow on that final lap before
Yeah.
those pit exits.
Yeah, because we do see that Jake was 2 seconds shorter in the pit stop than Alan Paris. So he also
Yeah.
did something with fuel.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised.
Yeah.
that.
So we have Michael Schmidt now then running in P1, and Joe Zubo in P2, Kyle McCormick in P3.
So how would you call that Michael Schmidt car? Is that like an Picasso style? I love it. It's like you have no idea where they're corners.
It's really lovely. Yeah, we need an art historian to advise us on that one, Pim.
So while I haven't had any real practice on the tracks, which is one of the reasons I'm not racing, I have had a go at the new track that they've released, the Mount Washington Climb.
Oh,
Tried that yet?
No, I'm afraid I've watched a lot of YouTube videos.
I have not watched any YouTube videos. As Schmidt puts down, let's see, his last lap was a 2:08.9. What's he going to do now? He does a 2:08.84. So he beats it just by a little tiny bit.
Yeah, that's a good time.
And
Super
right
good.
after that, we see Joey and Kyle McCormick also coming and fighting over there.
Yeah. Joey's being slowed down by his large hair, I think. Because he only did a 2:10.8.
Well, I do want a short shout out while you're saying that. We have some standings that we always get updated from him, and I'm showing them right now. Where we see that Carter is in the lead, but if he's not here, and Jake does get full points, he's gonna win. He's gonna be a new leader over here. But that's very interesting to see. Joe, shout out for you that you make these great overlays.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Actually, I wonder how it will work out, because I guess we don't know what drop weeks Carter is counting on to be provisionally in first place in the standings, do we?
No, we don't. While we're talking, there has been a change with the number 4 position. Chris Daniel has overtaken Alan Paris, and maybe that's a different tactic. The second round, Chris takes the lead.
Well, you know, it's you got to think about it, and I'm sure. I mean, you guys are going to be racing in the next race, right? The SF1 race.
Yep.
Well, I'm not. I'm staying here with you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, if you think about it, I mean, where would you rather be on the last 2 or 3 laps of the race, right?
Sure.
Do you want to be right up the gearbox, the guy in front of you, with those long straights and the long distance from the last corner on the track to the start finish line? You know, you could be drafting all the way up there and draft past the person on the line.
Yeah, even on the front straight, the start finish line is pretty. Oh, it looks like Joe Zubo has come into the pits for his first fuel stop. Michael Schmidt continues to lead the race, and Kyle McCormick now is in P2.
Oh, they get such slow times this time. As Rusty puts down a 2:08.193, which is now the fastest lap on the racetrack.
It's been so great just to see Rusty's pace improving. He's also just gotten so kind of rock solid steady, finishing races, pretty clean, and he's obviously being very strategic here. Just content, just to your earlier point, Ian, to just stay behind Chris Daniel and Alan Paris and keep the pressure on until a little bit later in the race.
Well, I think this is going to be a 2-stop race. So it's going to, now the trick is you have to make other decisions, right? Are you trying to save fuel? Are you trying to burn your fuel so you can short fuel? So in other words, are you trying to extend your stint, or is it like, we don't care, let's short fuel, let's get to the point where we need as little gas as we have to get, so we minimize our time on pit road?
Ian, I was thinking about that just for my own race, and this actually is pertinent to Jake Ashe trying the early, quick, undercut. These laps are pretty long, for Sunday Night Skippy. A 2-minute plus lap is pretty long, and so being off by 1 on a lap really carries a lot of risk here in terms of running out of fuel. And so I think being early is looks like we have our race leader Michael Schmidt and Kyle McCormick, who is in P2, both now in the pits for their first fuel stop.
Yeah, so here you're going to see now the Daniels Paris Pointenberg train to go back into first place, second and third, as Rusty again puts in a 2:07.571.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
And Jake Ashe has passed Michael Schmidt for P4.
Yep, Jake is a little bit back from the front runners now, which will be all getting the advantage of the draft of each of them, so they'll be moving a little quicker than he will.
Yeah, and I think he wants to have the position closer to Alan Paris, because in the championship, Alan has definitely a big shot, together with Rusty and Jake. So that's a little bit the fight in between. Well, Chris Daniel is taking that lead. He looks quite comfortable over there.
He does, but he's not gapping them. He's not really pulling away very much. So, and I think that Rusty is going to soon be really challenging for second here. It's all about finding a spot and choosing it and picking it. And of course, you know, being in a Wonka car, one never knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see chocolate spewing out of the tailpipe at some point here.
A bunch of Oompa Loompas come along and suddenly pick up the car and throw it forward.
I think it's funny.
I need to ask you, Ian, have you done a whole Mount Washington run and survived the whole thing?
I have. I tried it in the Subaru WRX STI, and that was an abject failure initially. So I thought I'd have a go in the VW, whatever it is we've got here, and I was able to get all the way through without crashing. Ooh, and Rusty had to do a lock up there to avoid going into the back of Alan.
Oh, we see a first pit.
Dives for the pits. Oh my gosh! Now, my friend, the game is afoot. This is
so
where
that is a pretty early second fuel stop, but
it's very early.
Yeah, but
Even Jake is still out. Even Jake is out.
I mean, Jake's probably going like, what? Yes.
But with
Jake,
19 minutes left, I think he can do it. But he'll need the race to.
Yeah, but I think it's a smart move because he was quicker than Alan Paris, and he wants to get rid of that draft. Driving alone right now, I think it's a good idea.
I don't know because he wasn't faster and he's still in the pits.
I wonder if he had the pit lane speed violation.
Oh, he must have done. He's now hit 55 and still isn't moving. 60 seconds. Oh my God. Oh no, poor guy. That means he what
he's finally been relieved.
Agony of defeat. He's rolling now.
All right, let's have a quick look.
Boy, we've all been there. Few things are more painful, you know.
Yeah, 1 minute 13 elapsed in the pits. That's going to put him well back from the leaders. He has got some driving to do to have any chance now of getting back into the top pack. That should put him somewhere around behind Joe, I would think.
Guys, he's really doing the challenge from the front to the back.
Yeah.
And he has succeeded quite well.
You know, we've all been there. We've all, in fact, kind of griped about just how harsh that speed limit violation penalty is.
Yeah, well, you know, don't violate the speed limit and you're all right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what the leaders do because now they've got basically a free pit stop. And Rusty has really dropped back from Alan's gearbox. He needs to climb back up there and see what's going on as they both pass the pit entry. And just jumping back to see what Jake's going to do as he's going around the final corner now. And is Jake going to dive in or is he going to? No, he's going to keep on going. So 18 minutes have gone. Almost. 35-minute race. Quite eventful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that it's really going to be interesting to see how these work out and how they're going to play the pit stop game. Jake's got to put his foot down a little bit, I think. He's now running in the 208.
Yeah, and he has Michael Schmidt right behind him, who can really gain on the draft from Jake. That's also going to be a nice, interesting way. Michael was a little bit in the back, pitted as latest, and now is really catching on to Jake.
Yeah, Pim, I think you're right. Jake's feeling some pressure from Michael Schmidt, and Joe Zubo behind them is really being pressured by Kyle McCormick.
There's a bit of racing all the way down the very small pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of folks out on vacation and entertaining and stuff like that, so that's what's kind of killed it this evening. But
yeah, nowadays everybody wants to broadcast. So yeah, we're all sitting over here. Maybe we should plan that a little bit better the next time. But it's a nice to be all here. And we still see here Rusty Pontenberg. He's losing a little bit of track on Alan Paris. You can still see him, but he's
Rusty
definitely
still
losing
has
something.
Rusty still has the fastest lap of the race, but he's being a little less consistent than Alan. Alan's just banging out, high 207s lap after lap. And it looks like Jake has spun off in the Brundle corner. Boy, at the end of the back straight. And that, we knew someone was going to be doing that, and unfortunately it was Jake.
Well, he's gathered himself up and he's going again.
Ooh. We are just looking at it, and luckily he didn't damage the car, so that shouldn't be the problem.
Right.
He's lost so much time and position that it's really going to hurt him that way. Hey, Tim, I heard a rumor that you've got some very cool new camera views that you're working with.
I am. I do have to say, learning from the best. Done a lot of research, and we found some different ways to do the drone camera. So we're trying to run that as smoothly as we can.
Here looks like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Kyle McCormick just made an inside move on Joe Zubo at the turn 2 hairpin and has taken the position. And so Kyle is now running in P4.
Oh wow, that was a nice move.
Jake is in the pits, so we'll see how that goes for him. He gets back on the road and gets back going. And he had a pit stop. What was his pit stop delta? It was, let's have a look here. No, let's have a look over here.
We see in total that he has 13.4 seconds he was in the pit. And he is one of the slowest in that one. That's interesting to see. Normally we see him a lot quicker in that way.
Yeah.
But Rusty has found again the speed. Or Alan Paris has made a couple of mistakes, and this is going to be interesting to see.
Yes. Yes, we have the battle for P1, and then we have the battle for P4 between Kyle and Joe. Those are our two battles on the track today.
So when these two stop, let's assume they're going to get about a 31-ish second stop. That'll still put them out 8 seconds as they both dive for the pits, as we're talking about it. That'll still drop them out 8 seconds. They're making sure they do not hit the pit limit to get a punishment there. 8 seconds ish in front of Jake Ashang. So, and they both stopped as Michael Schmidt goes up the start-finish line.
So who's going out? Who's going out first? Oh,
and Joe Zub is now in the pits. And
Alan Paris was a little bit quicker than Rusty. Not quick enough to lose the draft, but definitely made some headway on there.
Looks like Kyle McCormick has gone off track in the turn 2 hairpin.
Well, that's not a broadcast booth. That was all on himself. But he kept it safe, so no worry. Continue. Yeah. Still in the second spot.
That's one of the nice things about this track is you've got plenty of space. You know, it's not punishing like Laguna Seca, like Long Beach, for example.
Yes.
I wonder if we're going to get Miami when they bring that out as an F1 track.
Well, I still would like to see Zandvoort updated, the last corner.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's one of my list.
Now, when is that race? That's coming up fairly soon now, eh?
That's the 3rd of September, ladies and gentlemen. Please come all and watch to Zandvoort. The first GP of Holland since a long time.
Wow, that'll be great.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I don't think Hamilton should come, but for the rest, it's going to be awesome.
Then it would be boring.
There was a lot of chatter about Zandvoort on our league Discord, and looks like Rusty's making a move to the lead here.
Making a move to the inside, and passes Alan Paris.
Now we have these two treacherous turns.
Yeah, he made it. He made it stick.
He did, and he's gapping him already.
Done.
A little bit there. Alan's just eased off.
Yep.
It's like, yep, okay, you take the lead, my friend. I'm just going to sit back here and ride it out till we get a bit closer to the end. And then I'm going to pounce like a cat. As Michael Schmidt puts down a 2:07.566. Fastest lap of the race so far.
Oh, looks like Alan just went off track, so he's allowed Rusty to create a bit of a gap of almost 2 seconds now.
Yeah,
And
that's going to make it hard.
is now in the pits for his second fuel stop. So only our race leader, Michael Schmidt, he's the only one remaining who hasn't done a second stop yet.
Yeah, so when he stops, assuming a 31-second stop, he's going to be coming out just in front of Joe Zubovich as it stands right now. Which will put him in 4th position, which is pretty good.
Yep.
You know, he'll be up, what, 1? Yeah, he'll be up 1.
Yep. Boy, that little bobble by Alan Paris is really crucial here because Rusty has a 2-second gap now, and if he can maintain that, it keeps Alan out of his draft.
Alan is clawing it back. I mean, he's getting closer. It's now down to 1.7, 1.8 seconds. I don't think it's going to last.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the sector times, Paris is actually losing on Ponteberg. So Rusty is really making some speed. That could be an interesting part.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we talk about this a lot. In this situation, would you rather be Rusty or Alan?
With the speed of Rusty, I would definitely be Rusty right now.
Yeah.
He's. But there's no draft done here on the moment. If you now push.
I know, but Alan's catching him. It's now down to 1.2. There's going to be draft in a minute.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And we've got 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
All right, but also look at it this way. The long straight now, and he doesn't have the draft. So again, this.
The gap's now down to 1.1.
Come on, Rusty. Come on, Rusty. I'm rooting for you.
Come on, it's going to be one. It's good. Okay, here we go. And it's now. That's under a second. He's under.
You're right. I still root for Rusty. Come on.
Yeah, Rusty needs to pedal harder. But again, Rusty now has to make his car like Alonso did, very wide.
So after this lap, I'm guessing there'll be 3 laps after this. So again, to the earlier point, Ian and Pim, Alan is going to have to be. Both these drivers are going to have to be really strategic about where they want to be for the last 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah.
This is really the fight for this race. Because Michael Schmidt still has to come in. But yes. I'm a little bit surprised with Jake on that 6th position. Not sure where that went wrong.
And Rusty just locked it up going into the hard right-hander there after the long back straight.
Boy, and that can be a killer here because you need a good exit
to break the drive.
Turns, to get good straight line speed here in this back straight.
And the other thing is this: when someone in front of you is trying to break the draft, is it sometimes quicker just to ignore them and keep going straight?
Yeah, you shouldn't drive in your mirrors, as they say, but it's so hard to avoid doing that.
Yeah, I mean the gap is now 0.5. Coming up into the back straight just now.
And now here, this Murray's corner coming up is you're just sliding around this left-hander right here, and you're just wanting all of the exit speed you can muster for this long front.
All right, and we have Michael Schmidt going in, so that really means now that we see the real leaders up here, Rusty Pontenberg and Alan Paris. This is going to be the long shot. We still have 7 more minutes.
Paris just put out a 2:07 2:60.
Yeah, Rusty is towing him a long way.
And we're down to. So this is going to be. Is this going to be the last lap, or is there going to be one more?
I think there'll be 2 more after this.
Oh no, we still have 6 more minutes, guys.
Yeah,
more
five.
minutes.
Yeah,
5
5 minutes left. Yep.
Yeah.
So Michael Schmidt did come out in P3, well ahead, about 6 seconds ahead of Joe Zubo. So he's in good shape for that 3rd and final podium spot. And so what really isn't settled right now is P1 versus P2 with Rusty Puttenberg and Alan Paris.
Yep. And we've seen these kind of battles in Formula 2 a lot of times, but I do have to say this is I couldn't tell you who's going to be the winner of this one. It's so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're watching these guys, just to call out the rest, and P4 is Joe Zubo, P5 Kyle McCormick, P6 Jake Ashe, and P7 Chris Daniel. And Chris Daniel is also running laps in the 207s, but unfortunately is running in P7 because of the pit lane speed violation.
Oh! There was a little mess up there.
Yeah. Well, you can just feel the pressure.
You can indeed. You can indeed.
I'm just wondering, could you
Well,
pass in this corner, or is that too difficult? Also, looking at the last lap, where do you need to pass?
I think
Well, so coming up here at the end of the straight, turn 1, in Wednesday night's practice race, there were people that were able to take an inside line.
you can.
Yeah.
You can. If you get the turn in absolutely perfect, you could
Yeah.
ride that curb and you can pull an inside line, but you do sacrifice a bit of speed.
Absolutely. Yep. One thing that helps Alan Paris is he doesn't have to worry about anyone behind him, so he can be completely focused on Rusty.
Yes. And look how close they are now. As we tick down to 4.5 minutes to go. And it looks to me like he's looking to make a move already.
Another place with this hairpin coming, and you can also take an inside line here, and forcing Rusty to the outside to get
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
He hasn't got the overlap going into this next left-hander, which he really needed to have.
nobody else doesn't give it up.
Consolidate at that point.
okay, but here he'll have an advantage because he should have the inside line.
No.
Oh, and Rusty lets it a little bit hanging out. Lets the back hang out a little bit too
And
much. I
it's
think.
so important, this exit. This is now onto the Bentley straight, the long back straight.
Yeah, I think this is where he'll just drive past him now because of the draft. And there's
Yeah,
really
but
nothing
this
Rusty
is not
can
going to
do.
be last lap, Ian. So that's going to be an interesting one over here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you see now, if Rusty can just sit up right behind him, Rusty should be like, jump into his draft, and now Rusty needs to just sit there. And two
Oh, looks
different
like
braking
Rusty lost
points.
momentum. Yeah.
Two different braking points. But if Rusty can climb up, he's still got the time. He just wants to climb up right behind him. Maybe, a car length and a half. Just ride it round and then pounce on the last lap. You can
Okay,
see that
we're-
Rusty is carrying so much more speed into the corner.
We're under 2 minutes in the race, so this, as they cross our finish line, will be the white flag lap.
Are you sure?
We're at 33:13. I don't know.
I wouldn't count on that, and I don't think Rusty is counting on that. He's just following Alan Paris quite slowly. And I know that Rusty is a little bit quicker over here, so I'm curious what's going to happen.
Look how much he's closing up on the back of him now. Wow.
Yeah, this is some great racing by these two.
It is. It really is. I mean, you know, it's soon going to be like you'll be able to fit a sheet of paper between them.
Yep. So here, if I'm Rusty, I just want to concentrate on getting the best and cleanest possible exit out of these last two right-handers, because that sets you up for the back straight.
Yes, he needs to be really on his gearbox coming out of this corner here.
Does not look like he's close enough, does it?
Not really. What is he back? He's about 0.6 back. So he's going to be really close to him by the end of this, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. 0.5, 0.4. So he's just not quite there, and he's not got a good line in the corner there, but neither did Alan. So, you know, was that the? I wish we would know if it was the white flag or not.
No, it's not the white flag. It's not the white flag. The timer is still running. So now it's going to be over when it costs to finish the white flag. So
This will
still,
be the white flag lap.
this will be the white flag
Then
lap.
I would say Rusty's in a very, very good position. If this is the white flag lap, he got a bit of a worse. No, this is it. This is the finish.
Oh, this is it.
Finish. This is the finish. So here you go. Alan Paris first. Rusty Punenberg second. Michael Schmidt will be taking third.
Great finish for Michael Schmidt.
Very, very good finish. Zubo,
And what do you guys think of Joe Zubo? Fourth position over here.
Fantastic. Fabulous.
Well,
Great
but
drive.
if he had a haircut, the helmet would fit better, but B, he'd probably go a bit faster.
Kyle McCormick on fifth position.
Jake Ashe
Without a nose.
without a nose.
Something happened over there. So that's our complete race.
Well, Chris Daniels has still got to finish. He's on the back straight right now.
Let's give him some support.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
he
and
was actually the guy to beat. And just because of that penalty, really lost all momentum.
No, that was just a tough break, and yeah, I continue to think that penalty is so severe. You know, it really ends your race, as you're seeing here.
Yeah. And there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's a default.
Yep.
Oh, look at this! Chris is running out of fuel and needs to come across. He does. And yes, we have a whole field. Now, who would have thought that only 7 people on the track wouldn't have this exciting race? I enjoyed it a lot of times. Let's look at the race results. The race results already in. Should be in right now. Well, I don't see them right now, but we know that Alan Paris won this beautiful race here in Snetterton. Rusty Pontenberg very close on that second position, and Michael Schmidt on the third position. So awesome job by them. So what do we expect, Peter, for the Formula One race?
Well, you know, I'm now wondering, just given the summer doldrums, you know, there was a small field for Skippy Formula 2. We might get a little smaller field than normal, maybe fewer than 30 cars. We'll see for the Skippy Formula 1 race. But, you know, I think pretty much went as expected. You know, we saw, you know, how important it was to keep the car pointed straight. I'm now thinking I'm going to be very careful on my pit entries.
Yeah, watch those speed traps.
Yeah, and while you guys are talking, we're looking at the final overtake from Adam Paris on Rusty Puntenberg, where he really won the race. Got the most championship points. Very curious who's going to be the new leader, but we'll figure that out when they have calculated this. But awesome race, Peter. Good luck on your trip in this track. We're gonna follow you, and we'll see each other right after the break for our Formula One race. And welcome back to our broadcast for our second race, the Formula 1, here again on Snetterton. Curious what's going to happen. We've seen an awesome race of the Formula 2 with a great winner of Alan Paris, with a big fight with Rusty Pontenberg, and great to see those guys were fighting very close with each other. And now we're up here for Formula 1, the big boys. It's going to be a lot bigger pack. When I look on the track right now, we see around 34 cars practicing still their last laps. So looks like it's going to be a big full house. It's going to be the first time without Chris Small here in the booth. He is on holidays at this early morning, and a great race on our Watkins Glen, and took a victory, and took that victory immediately as a holiday. So we'll have to do it without him. We've promised we'll do our best, but it's going to be exciting with this many cars on here on the track. So let's see what we have going on right now. People are still practicing the last laps. Looking up here at Rafael Bofill. Seen the practice was necessary over there. But the practice is over, and we're here in qualification round. Now, while they all are in qualification, maybe it's a good time to actually have a quick look. See if we can see some timings. Here we see the top 10 of Formula 1. Right here is Carl Dronke on the first position, with Mike Bowers right behind him with 16 points left. And Pete Mobroton, the champion of earlier seasons, is here on the third spot. And it's all so close. Adam Wright, 19 points. But if you look at the point scoring that we have, you can win quite a bit of points, and especially the leading laps also wins a point. So everything is still to play for, especially if you look from a perspective that we still have 4 races to go. I'm really curious to see what we're going to happen today. Look at this, here we see Adam Wright, different tactic, really warming up his tires over here. Everything is to play for, right? But now he needs to start working. Goes a little bit offside. Is still not that bad. His tires will be quite warm right now. And here he goes to that last corner. Comes here onto the straight. Wants to take the best exit possible. We see quite a bit of cars still making their laps. I'm actually curious about a couple of guys. Have a quick look if we can see what Leo Ovtarov is doing, because in the practice race he was really quick.
Hey, Pim.
Hey, and we're looking currently at the qualification. Looking at Leo, I was just saying he was doing a really quick time on the practice sessions on Friday and on Wednesday. And he's currently also the fastest in the first sector. And Ian, we have a big pack over here. We have 36 people driving, so it's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. It most certainly is.
So Leo has the second section also done the quickest. And here his tires a little bit going off there. He's very tight. Perfect exit, takes the full line over there. Now up to this finishing line. Take the shortest route over here. Oh, he's not. I actually think there's another lap over here. He did put up the quickest time.
Wow, he's done a 206.82, which is very fast for a quali lap.
Yeah, that's very fast. And we were looking at Adam Wright before that, and he has done a 207. And Michael Hounek just did a 207.04 for the second position. So now it's going quite quick.
I think the track evolution is starting to come to the cars a little bit.
Yeah, and also the tires will get warmer, and they've done their fast lap, so they can now try a little bit more. I'm curious what Jeffrey Decker is going to do. He's currently on the 5th position.
Peyton Broughton's in 6th.
Yeah, but I do think that Pete, there's always something going to happen in the race. He always has a tactic, either a good pit stop or something else. That's going to be very interesting to see that happening.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I do have to say, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's interesting because, you know, some of our normal guys that we expect to see right at the top of the standings, we haven't seen any time set yet from Bartanowski, Kyle Reed, Clark Nodwell, or Max Guacamo, or Sean Tradiak. None of them have set times yet.
No, and what do you think about Jonathan Dockery? Always very quick. Last rounds that I've seen, he was very successful. Also, don't see him on the track yet.
No. I think let's have a look here. He is. Is he actually? No, he's just sitting in the pits at the moment. So we'll see what's going to happen there.
Don't worry, Leo just set another quickest time. He's now in the 206.15.
Good lord, that's very fast.
Yeah, so currently we have Gurken de Meer. Yes, Gurken de Meer is coming on the 2nd position. I'm rooting for this guy. Last time I was in the booth, we had a Red Bull Racing, and we all know what happened in that last corner where he got the blue screen of that. But currently, he's already on the 4th position with a very quick time of 206.9. So he's really going to be somebody who we need to have a look at.
I think so, yeah. Again, it's looking like it's going to be another one of those very interesting races here at Snetterton, which in itself is an interesting little track, you know. British Touring Cars Championship is usually held here, as well as some Formula 3 racing, some British GT Champion, Superbike Championship. All that's held on one of the 3 layouts that they have here. And this is again another old British airfield from the Second World War. Do you know the Americans used to run this airbase in between 1943 and 1948?
Yeah, 47. 47. It was actually close. I looked at it, and yeah, I could totally see because it's really flat. So I could totally see that was a position for them. And yeah, 1953 they came up with trying to race over there. What do you think of the track? Have you raced here before?
I have. I quite like it. I mean, it's it's a fast open track with medium to high speed corners. There's a couple of heavy braking zones and some slower speed corners, but most of them are fairly medium to high speed corners. I think it's a lot of fun to race here. Again, it's one of those places where you just have to grit your teeth on some of them and let the car do its own kind of thing, the slide, and just make sure that you get your braking points right. Because again, this corner, more than a lot of the other tracks, is really about keeping your momentum in the right point, in the right place.
All right, and while you were talking, Leo didn't wait for you and actually became in the 205. So he's at 205.8 right now, and we see Jeffrey Decker also moving up to the third position for 206.3. So it's really, really fast.
It really is. And I mean, I wonder if anybody's going to be able to out-qualify Leo at this point. I mean, a 205.8 for quali is quite fast. It really is.
Yeah, and I also think it's funny that in this track we can really see. Normally, the field is very close to each other, and here you actually see 2-3 seconds difference. It's going to be a major impact on this track.
I think so. And again, I'm still waiting to see some times being put down by Gander, Carl Reed, and Jonathan Dockery. I haven't got any times from those guys.
Well, they're going to be a little bit too late because we have up here the results in, and we see that Leo Ovtarov is really in that first position with a 205.8, really, really, really quick. And then Michael Owanek on the second position, and then we have Jeffrey Decker on the third, Peter Miller number 4th, really, really good, and then Adam Wright. Has been moving up and is really settling up here for the top 5 position. But I think we're going to see a lot more from him. And then Pete Mulbroten on the 6th position. Perfect position for him to make his moves and see what happens. We have Gurkan Demir on number 7th. Carl on the number 8th position, Carl Dronke. Always up there together with Pete to come up with some interesting tactics. And after that we have Jeffrey Snavely. Joshua Dempsey is still in that top 10 position. It's good to see that part going on. Let's see if we can see some more timings. I think. Here we go. We see Peter Notwell in the 13th position. We'll have to fight a little bit to come back. Mike Bowers also on the 14th position. They're a little bit behind. I see Ray on the 18th position. Steve Durr, 19th. It's a large field up here.
Yeah, I mean, even these back markers, Max de Guacamo and Aaron La, Rusty Pointenberg, who we saw in our last race. I'm still expecting to see some good stuff all the way through this grid.
Oh yeah, no, and definitely. Let's have a quick look for Rafael Boufil, number 30. I know he hasn't practiced that much, and he is there on the 30th position, but he's always going up. So that's going to be interesting. Peter Lee, our co-commentator, on the 31st position, and then we have Andrew Cole, Kyle Reed, Jonathan Dockery on the 35th position. Definitely going to focus him on the first lap because he's going to make some move. And then we have on the last position Russell Gander from Australia. So then we have a full pack over here. So that's going to be an interesting race.
Yep, and the cards are starting to grid up now, so we should be able to spot them on the grid.
Yeah, we see them definitely coming up.
And it's a beautiful sight to see all these cars all in a row. And again, they're going to have that a huge issue with cold tires going into the first sets of corners. These cars are going to want to slide all over the place. It should be quite a fun race to watch because they do have a lot of runoff space that they can use if they need it, which should mean that they might take a few more risks than one would expect.
Yeah, well, Ian, I'm glad you're here. I was a little bit afraid that I had to do this by myself, and I know Chris can do it, but I couldn't. So I'm thankful that you're here. Look at all these cars. It's going to be fantastic. The lights are coming on. Engines are full on.
Away we go.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's see how they do going up to turn 1. How they make it through this first corner.
Well, in the beginning, we see first just one people, but after that, they're already going a little bit too wide.
We are already seeing moves up and down the pack as people are jockeying for position and able to take some of these places. And it's going to take a little wee while for it all to sort of settle out.
But so far, it looks all very clean.
You don't want to take too many chances on the opening lap. So we'll see how they do as they keep going through.
And we see Mike Bowers taking a couple of positions. And here we are seeing the first takeovers over there.
Yes, Clark has got a place and Nodwaller up a place. And so's Bowers and Bell. And JR Hoops unfortunately lost 4 positions to them. And Perez is up a place. And Doer is up 2. So that's all the way down to position 17. So it's looking good as they all are now coming out onto the back, long back straight. Before they drop down into Brundle.
And here, let's look at Stephen Durr taking that position over there from Brian Perez.
Nicely done. Going around Bomb Hole into Coram.
We do see that Andrew Cole on the back has made a crash. Hope it's not too serious.
In the final corner of the race, track Murray's, where they get back onto that start-finish line. Start-finish back straight. And the first lap is in the bag.
First lap is in the bag, and we do see that Spencer Clark has some issues. He was dropping back a little bit and has to give up position to Mike Bowers, who is now on the 12th position. 2 spots up. But he can contain that quite easily. Let's have a look at the front. Because we see now here Jeffrey Decker and Michael Howanek really close to each other.
They've actually swapped positions because Howanek got passed by Jeffrey Decker a couple of seconds ago.
And right behind there is Peter Miller, Adam Wright, Pete Mubroten, Gurken, Demir. All the big champions are there, but I do see that Leo has taken a little bit of a lead, or is that just my perception up here?
No, he's got a tiny interval. He's about 0.7 out at the moment, but I don't think that's going to last too long as Jeffrey Decker rounds Williams onto the Bentley straight, heading down towards Brundle. I see someone slid off in the foreground. I'm not quite sure who it was. It looks like it was Scott Bell. Oh no, Gurken Demir. Gurken Demir has just lost a ton of places as he drops down to P18, losing 11 spots. I think he must have had a little spin. As they get through Brundle, Nelson, Bombhole, and into the Coram carousel.
And we're looking up here on the number 2 position, or number 3 position actually. Peter Miller, Michael Howanek and Adam Wright, really close to each other. And Pete Mubroten, especially in that position, what is he gonna do?
Well, again, I mean, you know, you got to also be thinking strategy as someone goes very wide coming through Brundle.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about it, but that was Scott Bell, who really lost some position over there, and that's the great opportunity for Stephen Durr to come really close. But also behind there,
Fastest lap of the race of a 206.715. There's a lot of action going on up and down the field right now.
yeah, we're looking up here with Aaron Lay, Max Di Giacomo, and Brian Perez.
Yeah, and Aaron Lars moved up quite a bit. He's passed quite a few people, up 6 spots to 16, P16 now.
Yeah, and Ray is fighting for position with Brian Perez. So it's close everywhere. Where do we go? Let's have a quick look at the front. Not to forget about them, because we have that pack that number 3 till 7 that are running now all in one line.
Yeah, we're starting to. We're starting again. It's taking a lot longer on this track than it would normally on a lot of the tracks, as they all come round and the front. The leaders now come through Murray's. Sorry, no, I'm totally wrong part of the track. So they come through Brundle into Nelson, into Bombhole. It's a weird name, that, you know, Bombhole. You know, it's called because it was a hole where a bomb was dropped. The bomb was dropped and it made a big hole.
You have always the interesting facts.
Coram into Murray's and back up onto the start-finish line with our Leo still in first place, very closely followed by Decker. And they are starting to pull out a little bit from the trailing pack. Jeffrey Decker is 0.65 behind, but Peter Miller is about 2 seconds, 2.5, almost 3 seconds off the leader, as both Leo and Jeffrey Decker set a 2:06. They're now on the fastest laps of the race, with Leo with a 2:06.17. But all the cars are still, A, they're all on the lead lap, but B, they're all still fairly close together. If you look at the, I don't know if you've got a track map up, but if you have a track map up, you can see there that they're not that spread out yet.
No, it's one big line. You can see that also up here when we drive along with Adam and Carl and Peter. It's all one big line over here.
Yeah. You're starting to see a couple of trains forming with little gaps in between, but most of them are just keeping it going, which is really good to see. Who's our biggest mover so far? I've got, let's see, I've got Rusty down.
Carl Reed is currently 10 positions up. He's in the 24th position. But he has made quite a bit of moves.
Jeff Torback seems to have crashed. I'm going to have a quick look and see what happened there.
We're looking up here with the position number 5, because they are now starting to fight. Adam has taken position 4 now, but has basically Carl behind him. And they're going, are they going to try 3 wide? They are going to try 3 wide. No, Carl's the smarter one in this, but Pete is now also forming. Oh, this is going to be a nice, interesting one for on the straight. Pete is looking where he can do it, but he can't, and he just waits up here.
And they're really dropping Hounik off the back. Decker has now got an almost 3-second lead over third place. So first and second are pulling away all of their own.
Carl was nearly going wrong and hitting Adam, but he could save that car and Adam, which was really impressive. Really, race is quite exciting over here. And while we talk about that, we do see that Jeffrey has come close to Leo.
Yeah, Jeffrey just set a 2:05.87 on lap 5 of the race, which is very, very quick.
Yeah,
so
this is how we.
They've got to settle into their places. They've got to start working on what their strategies are going to be. And we haven't had any pit stops as yet. We're only on lap 5, but you never know.
No, and who would now go in? Would Leo go in first because he's getting sick of Jeffrey behind him? Or do you think Jeffrey is going to do this for an undercut?
I still think lap 5 is still a little early. I think they need to push on to a lap more like 7 or 8 before they do the first pit stop. But you know, we've got Jake Ashe in the house, so maybe he's getting ready to stop already. We've got a nice little fight here between Carl, Wright, and Miller, and also with Nodwell and Dancy in the fray. Dancy racing for Shake and Bake in the pink 22 car. Yeah, Leo is going go Rusty. We've got some Rusty fans in the house. Rusty, where is Rusty right now?
Well, Rusty was doing really well on our second race. He's currently in position 20, number 26.
Yep.
That's gotta be tiring as well, doing that whole race and then now up here again. But so far he's doing a really good job. We do see some people going in. I see Matthew Zupka coming in. I see Jurgen de Meer coming in.
Bartanowski. Who else? Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that makes a big change. Again, they're doing somewhere. Let's put that up for me so I can see what's going on.
All right, we see that Jeffrey is up here really close to Leo. I don't think he's going to fight for it right now. The race is too long for that. He's just going to save a little bit of fuel. I'm curious how it is with Pete McBroten. Still on that second pack on that 4th position. He's also not making any moves.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's he's got Dancy, Nodwell, and all those guys with him. You know, so there's Joshua Dancy, Peter Nodwell.
Oh, and while you're talking about that, we see that Adam is a little bit outside, and Carl immediately takes advantage of that. Wow, nice to see them race side by side over here, coming into that last corner.
But I'll tell you,
Adam has the inside. Look at that. Nice move from Carl on that outside. And immediately Pete here. Okay, now we have Pete time. Look at this. Pete is now making a move. Is he gonna pass them both?
I don't know if he's gonna hold it though, because
yeah, he's taking it outside. He's taking it outside. Oh!
They hit!
No!
They crash!
No!
Oh!
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh! Both of them are out over here.
Oh no! Yeah. Pete's got a broken front wing, and he's towed back to the pits.
Yeah, we see now that both are towed, and that makes position for Peter Miller a little bit more easy. He's now on that 4th position, and Pete McBroten is still alive. So, nothing to lose and everything to gain for.
Yeah, so that put a bit of a damper in the in that front running group. And but we've got Snavely, Mike Bowers, Joshua Dancy, and Clark also coming to party, trying to work their way back up to that front pack. And obviously, you know, Clark in 10th can now see, and of course JR Hoops, which is just right behind Clark, can see those guys ahead of them after that little finagling they had at the front there. So yeah, that kind of shook everything up. But I'll tell you, Leo and Jeffrey Decker are a whole second faster almost than the rest of the whole field, with the exception of, I don't know, let's see here, Peter Miller.
Yeah, Peter Miller is making some moves, and together with his same name, Pete McBroten and Peter Notwell, what's this? Number 4, 5 and 6 are all Peters. I think we're moving up over here.
As we've got Wright, Drunky, Willard, who's this? Wright, Drunky, Wilmer, Carrington Wilmer, and Jack Moffat are all in the pits right now.
Yeah, we see Pete Broten is following over there as well. Spencer Clark is following, G.R. Hoops is following. Looks now like a complete field, and Scott Bell is continuing. So he will gain quite a bit of positions and is now in position 8. I love that paint, I have to say.
Yes, it's very nice. Very nice. As our 2 leaders just keep on piling on the laps. Lap 8 now, 15 minutes, 27 seconds gone by. Now the question is, when are the front runners going to pit? And are they going to pit together, or are you going to have one pull in and the other one do the opposite and try and get a tremendous lap in, give himself a bit better gapping, need a little more fuel, but or take a little less splash and dash? It's all to play for. It's all to play for.
And what about position number 6? We have Mike Bowers together with John Dancy. Joshua Dancy, really close, having a nice battle over there as well.
As our leaders come down the back straight into Brundle, left-hander into Brundle, then the hard braking zone right-hander of Nelson into Bombhole. And in fact, if you look on the inside as they go through here, the road track does dip and rise right there as they go through that corner, the remnants of the said Bombhole as they go around the Coram Carousel down to Murray's. And here we go, coming up for that pit in. What is going to happen?
And Jeffrey is now really close, and they're both going in.
The
yeah, they're both coming in.
Heading in. Braking so hard.
Oh, and they hit each other. That was a small hit. I don't see much damage from Jeffrey. Luckily, he can immediately take his fast repair over here.
As we got Hownick in the pits, we've got Peter Miller, Snaverly, Mike Bowers, Joshua Dancy, all in the pits. Bell, Steve Doer. Wow, they've all piled in. Aaron La. Is anybody left on the track?
No, we see even Benjamin Harris coming in, Jeffrey Torbeck, Kyle Reed. And there we see Pete Broten is taking, was a little bit of an undercut. And let's see if that worked out for him.
As Pete rolls up into position 4, P4, but again, don't forget that's just the first of 2 pit stops. You're gonna have to stop again.
But if you look at the timings, then you do see that they're all very similar into the pit. Pete had a 13.6 in the pit. Let me say that. Do I say that correctly? No, we can even. Yeah.
Yeah.
We see Leo had 15. So Pete is taking quite a bit of a big jump over there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he got a pit lane time of 7. That doesn't look right. 11:95 for his fueling. That was very quick.
Yeah, so that probably will be we're seeing back in his pit stop, because then he probably has to do a little bit of more fueling. But nothing has changed between Leo and Jeffrey. Still on number 1st and 2nd position.
Yeah, big enough gap that they're able to get in and get out and maintain their position, which is quite amazing.
Yeah, you can clearly see that Jeffrey is taking it easy. Doesn't have to be that close, but close enough to keep having that draft.
Indeed. Just wants to keep within that 1 second distance.
Yeah, and behind them you see now there's going to be a little bit of a fight between the Petes. Pete Broten on that 1st position and Pete Miller on number 5th. Right behind him, we can still see him in the back, is Peter Notwell.
And then just for a change, we've got Mike Bowers.
All right, and we have Mike Bowers. Of course we have Mike Bowers. Oh, Well, we see Peter Notwell nearly going off, and we see in the back Joshua Dancy also making a slippery. And that's going to be interesting.
As Clark comes up and drafts past JR Hoops for 10th position. JR is not giving up, still has overlap, takes the inside line, but he's going in a little too hot and loses a bit by scrubbing a lot of speed off. And Spencer Clark gets P10, up 2 positions. Mike Bowers is up 7, Peter Nodwell is up 7.
Right, let's have a quick look at Jake Ashe. He wasn't very lucky in our previous race. He's here in a fight with Brian Paris and Rob Hopp right behind him. I think that's the good thing about these races. You always find someone to fight with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's go to the fight of the Pete. Who is now the real Pete? Currently, it's Pete Mabroten on that first 4th position. But I do think that there is a chance that Peter Miller is coming closer very soon.
Yeah, Pete Miller is only 0.2 of a second back from Pete Mabroten as they go through coming up to Bomb Hole. Through Bomb Hole into Coram. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep him behind him over the start-finish line. Into Murray's. And he's even closer. He's now...
yeah, he has a big line over here. And you can see Peter Notwell can't hold it. And is Peter now gonna hold to Mike, or is Mike really running away up to the second Peter Miller?
I don't know, but I'll tell you, Pete Miller and Pete Mabroten are having a huge ding-dong battle as the gap between them is now 0.4 of a second. So Miller is definitely getting Mabroten's draft and doing very well. As he closes up even more, 0.2, 0.3 of a second. As they navigate through Agostini, through Hamilton.
Yeah, and you see how close Peter Miller is.
Yeah, down to Oggies, up to Williams, and then round onto the Bentley Straight. And he's so much closer now that he should get him now, I think, if he stays tucked in behind him.
Yeah, right behind there. You see you see Mike and Peter Notwell also fighting. But is Peter Miller going for this one? I don't think so.
Oh, he's gonna just back off and just keep it behind in 5th place. I think he's just looking to see what was going on. He didn't even pop his nose out through Bomb Hole, Coram, to try and get past there.
All right, I do want to point out that Jeffrey Decker is on the moment very close to Leo on that straight. And if he wants, he can overtake him right now.
Again, now you got to start thinking strategy, right? If every lap that he sits behind him, he's got the advantage of the draft. He's got the advantage of the fuel saving. He's got the advantage of not having to punch the hole in the air for the other driver. And what does this mean? Well, it means that when they do go into the pits, he'll need less fuel than Leo will need to complete the race. And if that's the case, then he can get through the pit stop maybe a bit quicker and pass him in the pits, which is always one option.
I'm looking up here with Scott Bell, who has Ray Bartnikowski and Jeff Torbeck right behind him.
And Steve Durr and Aaron Law having a good battle as well in P13 and 14, as Steve is holding on to the back of Aaron Law's green 901 car. Very appropriate color for this track, sort of a British racing green with bright yellow wheels is what Aaron Law's running. As Steve chucks it into Hamilton, through Oggies, up to Williams.
All right, an update on the Pete fight. Pete Miller is really close. He could have overtaken, but he's just not doing it right now. I think you're right. There is some tactic going on.
As Steve Durr bears down on the back of Aaron Law and passes him into Brundle. He's able to make that stick. Oh! Hits the inside of Nelson, bounces the car a little wide, drives through bomb hole, gets that massive compression. If you watch the, if you get an onboard shot going through there, watch the suspension. You can see the cars really, their suspension really working hard as they come down into Murray's and onto the start-finish straight, the Senna straight. Now here's Aaron Law again, right on the back of Steve Durr. Looks like he's going to draft past him into Rich's. As I see a stopped car on the inside there. I'm not sure who that was. There's a stopped car on the inside of Rich's. It looks like.
Well, I don't know who it is on the moment, but it's at least it's not Jeffrey Decker, because Jeffrey Decker is still on the back of Leo.
Looks like that was Rob Hopp.
Well, and here we see the fight with Peter Notwell and Jeff Snavely. Really close, and right before that Mike Bowers.
Clark is all the way up with Joshua Dancy now.
All right, and here we go. Peter Miller is going to make a fight for the position of number 4. Pete McBurton can't defend that. Doesn't have to defend that. We're only 13 laps in yet.
Mike Bowers gets ever closer. Now just 1.6 seconds back behind Pete McBurton as Peter Miller and Pete McBurton were doing a little battling there, which has slowed them down slightly.
I see Peter Notwell's really coming close there on the back of Jeff Snavely. I'm curious what he's going to do right now.
And Jeff is trying to climb all over the back of thing as McBurton dives into the pits.
Of course. And we're expecting that he's going to be a little bit longer in the pit.
So we're watching him now. I'll watch Pete in the pits as he's dropped to 14th so far. He's getting ready to go. 25.6, 27 seconds before he got moving. He's going to have a total pit lane time of 35 seconds flat. Coming out in P17, right behind Benjamin Harris.
Yeah, biggest fight on the moment here is for position number 5. We have Mike Bowers, Jeffrey Snavely and Peter Notwell. Really, they're not really fighting, but they're also not making it very easy to each other. And that gives an opportunity for Peter Miller to run away a little bit. And he needs to do that because is he going to fight with Peter McBurton when he's back on the pit?
Be interesting to see as Steve Durr gets past Aaron Law. They're now in 12th place. Max Giacomo got ahead of them. I'm not quite sure because they were fighting for 10th at one point in time. As we've got JR Hoops sitting in 10th. Spencer Clark in 11th, working on the back of Joshua Dancy, who is in 8th. Sorry, Spencer Clark's in 9th. Josh Dancy's in 8th. Pete Nobwell's in 7th. Snavely's in 6th. Mike Bowers is in 5th. Peter Miller is in 4th. Michael Howanak is in 3rd. And then we've still got Jeffrey Decker and Leo, who is running in 1st.
Well, here we're going to have some extra time for Scott Bell because Sarah is still watching. He's helping us with the stream. Hope you like it, Sarah. But Scott Bell's not making too many moves. He has a different pit strategy than everybody else. See again a lot of people going in.
Tim Foster is pumping for Rusty. Let's see how Rusty's doing right now. He is currently in P24 in the Wonka car with Jonathan Dockery and Ben Harris close to him. So
yeah, Benjamin Harris. I've fought many fights with him on the Formula V. Really clean driver and fun to have some fights with. Very tactical driver as well. While we see on 14th position Spencer Clark and Kyle Reed fighting a really close battle.
Sarah, your wish is the racing coordinator's command.
Oh,
Clearly
definitely.
you have control.
Sarah is always coming here. I like it when family members are coming to cheer on. And Scott does need it for now. He's on the 10th position. He's missing a little bit everybody else. You can't say that from Jeffrey Decker, who is just being on the back of Leo for the whole race.
Yeah, but
Leo.
Scott's working on Steve Dewar and JR Hoops. Steve is they're kind of on their own because the folks they were fighting with have all bailed into the pits. So it's going to be interesting to see where we're at with that. So far, we have got everybody down to Pete Nodwell in 7th place, have done one stop. Then JR Hoops hasn't stopped yet. But then as Nodwell is in the pits, this is his second stop. Now there you go, that's very interesting. Why is he in the pits?
Yeah, we see also Scott Bell went into the pit for the second time.
I wonder if he went in for a quick repair. He's now heading back out onto the track. And he wasn't in there very long. He was only in there 24
that was very close. He nearly hit Pete Broughton over there, but he could avoid it. Immediately lose quite a bit of time and can't even catch the draft of Pete Broughton. So now we're going to wait till Leo or Jeffrey is going to come in. I'm going to guess they're going to go in together. We're going to really have to wait till the end.
Should they do that? Should Jeffrey go in with Leo? I mean, they're running very similar times. In fact, Jeffrey's doing just a couple of tenths faster than Leo, typically on a lap. Leo's best was a 2:05.22. Jeffrey's best was a 2:05.15.
Yeah, but Leo has done that without draft, and Jeffrey has done it only with draft.
This is very true. As a lot more people are jumping in and out of the pits. So as these start to shake out very soon now. Jeffrey is what? He is 10 seconds ahead of Haunak as they both dive into the pits.
Wow.
And here we go. Let's see what happens because now...
Well done, Jeffrey. He didn't hit him, but he is a little bit closer. Look at this. He's driving a little faster than Leo. Oh, this is going to be an interesting. Let's wait to see if they how they get out over here.
But look at where their times are because they are going to get passed in the pits by Haunak. Oh no, and Hauanak's in, and Jeffrey's out. He has jumped. He is
Oh,
jumping
wow.
out in the pits.
Wow.
In the pits. Decker takes first place.
All
Pit-
right.
Oh my gosh, 34 seconds. 34
Oh.
seconds. Leo
Ian,
had to take a pit of 37.
Ian, Chris would be so happy to see that we were on ball. We were having it right here on the screen. Amazing. Look at this.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's 2.5 seconds. So now let's see what is the speed, the real speed of Leo. Is he coming back to
Jeffrey
this?
Decker, the real speed of Jeffrey Decker. Because Jeffrey was the one that was in the draft the whole time. So
I don't
now
care
Leo has
any
got
of them. This is amazing, amazing to see.
So yeah, they managed to get in and out of the pits and stay in first. Hawanek's in third after 2 stops. Pete's in fourth. Pete is about 6 seconds back from Hawanek. 35 seconds elapsed, 10 minutes to go. 35 minutes elapsed, 10 minutes to go in the race. He's got a lot of work to do to knock off that 6 seconds. Pete Nodwell is 1.84 behind Pete McBroughton, and Mike Bowers is 2 seconds further back than that. It's still, there's still room for some movement.
No, we see that John T. Dockery had an incident, or he was just in the pits. He is coming
Miller.
out.
Miller is Mike Bowers is all over the back of Pete Nodwell, going down the back straight here into Grundle corner. Still backing off and not trying to take him into the corner. I think that Mike Bowers is playing the long game as Pete McBroughton goes a little wide coming out of Grundle, going into Nelson, coming up to Bombhole. That's with a B. B-O-M-B, just in case anybody's wondering.
No one's watching this. But what do you think about Pete McBroughton? Because he's losing a little bit of speed. If you compare that to Mike Bowers and Peter Nodwell.
Yeah, I think they're setting him up. I mean, Nodwell is quite close to the back of Pete McBroughton now, and I think that another lap or so there might be a little change there. And I think Bowers is getting some really nice drives off some of these corners, coming out of them and carrying far more speed through them than the other two are. The lap times don't really show that, but look how close all 3 of them are now. Although I think Bowers got a little worse off that one. He had to brake a bit harder than he thought to allow the 2 in front of him to get through the corner. But I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a 1-2 pass over Pete McBroughton if Mike can get a little bit closer. I mean, look how close he is to the back of Nodwell now.
Yeah, they're eating over there. Who is going to make the first move?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, they should be fueled enough now through the end of the race. Now, if any of them short fueled and they have to do a bit of fuel saving by running in someone's draft, then that might be different. But if they actually fueled to make it to the end of the race, it's on, baby. You know?
Yeah, Mike Bowers doesn't really have to worry. He's now really in that third spot for there. Doesn't have to look backwards, can only look forwards. And ooh, yeah,
very close.
Very close, but you see.
We need Chris to turn the volume up on his phone, make sure Megan's within hearing distance, because we're going to talk about Postman soon.
What are we going to talk about?
Postman. We're going to be talking about licking stamps and send it, baby. We haven't said that for a while. I know she loves it so much. As Decker is keeping a bit of a gap between himself and Leo of about 1.2 seconds. So Leo is out of his draft now.
Yeah, but Leo is coming back. Leo, it was 2.5. Leo is really getting a lot of traction, and he's getting closer to Jeffrey.
There's a pass. Nope, there isn't. Oh, thought there was going to be a pass there. Thought Bowers was going to have Nodwell into the corner as they all come up and go round. Where are they now?
All right, where's Chris when you need him right now? There's too many fights going on. We're nearly entering the last 5 minutes. We see Jeffrey Decker with Leo fighting for position. Leo is now in drafting range, so that will matter something. And then we see Michael, Pete Mulbroten on the 4th position, fighting with Pete Notwell and Mike Bowers. Really, everything to gain for in that fight over there.
We've got Carl Dronke down in 26. Quite sure what's going on there, and so is Andrew Coles in 25th. That's
and Andrew Cole had an issue going on.
Okay, and then Rusty's trundling around in the Wonka Bar car number 11. Position 23. He's down 2 places.
We do see again
what happened to Halliday?
Peter Notwell has made a move on Peter Mulbroten. He took that really nicely. And right behind there is Mike Bowers and Peter Miller. This is really a nice fight with like 6 people. Pete Mulbroten, Mike Bowers, Peter Miller, Jeffrey Snavely, all fighting over there. It's difficult to see who's going to take the lead, but I do see Mike Bowers has a really nice run.
Yeah, I see this battle going all the way through for the next 4 minutes as Pete Mulbroten pulls to the inside of Peter Nodwell and gets the position as, oh my God, look at this! Too wide, as Snavely gets the position over Miller.
We do have to go back to, we also see a change over here
Miller
in the front. Leo Octave is making a move. We have a change of a leader up here. Jeffrey Decker is really close, and he's fighting for that position, but Leo doesn't have it, and he's back on the first position. Sorry to interrupt you, but let's go back to Mike Bowers and Peter Notwell and Peter Miller.
So Pete Mulbroten's now in the front runner of that little backpack, running in P4 with Bowers in P5, Nodwell in 6th, Miller in 7th, and Snavely in 8th. Jeff, and they have been doing some tremendous driving, too wide into corners, and being very, very, very technical on some of the stuff they've been doing. It's quite
and look at this. You have another one for Peter Notwell, who's taking the inside of Mike Bowers, but he can't make it stick. Ooh.
Tucked back in as Pete Miller runs up behind him, and Snavely takes advantage of all of this to close the gap up even more, and Pete's taking advantage of the people in the back fighting to start to gap him off just a tiny bit, give himself a bit of breathing room. But Miller is pushing really hard on the back of Nodwell as they come round into Murray's and onto the start-finish straight.
Through the dirt, man. This is... All right, and it's only 2 more minutes, so we have to pay attention also on those leaders, because I don't think we've seen everything over there.
So Decker is right up behind Leo, 0.3 seconds back from him, and they're going to run out of time. We need to find a way, Pim, of knowing when we get the white flag flown.
Well, it's clearly that now, I think, to be honest, they have, after this lap, it will happen. Because we have only 1 more minute to go.
To go through.
Now, and currently we see this whole the Pete show is up here going on with Pete Mulbroten, Pete Notwell, and Peter Miller. Mike Bowers is the odd one over here. And he's really looking on that back of Peter Mulbroten.
Well. I say, this has been a tremendous eventful race.
All right, and now we see Jeffrey Decker really close by Leo.
So, I mean, they are nose to tail welded together going around this track right now.
All right, let's have a good look because the time is running out. So it could be that this is the final one, and then Jeffrey is really, really, really close. Oh, this isn't going to be very close show.
As they come down, looks like for the final time into Murray's. Who's going to get the better push off of this corner? Will there be enough track between here and the start-finish line?
No, he's not going to make that. He's not going to make that. Leo is taking the victory in front of Jeffrey Decker, who did an amazing race. But that's definitely it.
Michael
and then,
coming in third. And then the next track behind them is they're still fighting as Bowers pulls out from behind Nodwell. Pulls inside to try and see if he can collect it over the line, but he can't quite make it.
No, it's Peter Mobroton, Peter Nodwell, Mike Bowers, 7th position number Peter Miller, 8th Jeff Saley, 9th nice position for Joshua Dancy, and J.R. Hoops on the 10th position.
Clark,
wow.
Max Guacamo, Aaron La, Gurkan Demir, Scott Bell, Ray Bartnowski, Ben Harris, Kyle Reed in the most colourful car.
Well, we still have a position over here for Kyle Reed and Matt Zepka, but Matt Zepka can't make that one.
To get him on the thing. Torbeck, it looks like Torbeck has run out of gas as he crawls towards the line, getting passed by Rusty Poitenberg, who grabs that position back and comes in P20. And so does Cole and Dronky and Wright as they all get past him as he crawls towards the finish line with the car sputtering away, almost completely out of fuel. Will he even make it over the line? He's probably just willing that car on and pushing himself backwards and forwards in the seat to try and get it over.
Yeah, luckily he's not the only one. I think we have up here Rob Hop, who's also having the problem.
He's shaking that car to make it get through.
All right, Rob, come on, we're rooting for you. Come over that finish line.
Oh.
He's gonna make it.
Oh.
He's gonna make it.
Good Lord. Who's that then? Peter Lee, J.R. Hoops.
What
coming
an
in there.
Awesome race.
That was great.
Really enjoyed that part.
That was really good. That was really good.
So we have on the first position, Leo, congratulations. Awesome race from you. Michael Hawanik on the second position. On the second position? Is that not Jeffrey Decker right over there?
Yeah, Jeffrey Decker.
Oh, sorry. We're looking at the wrong results. Good that I'm right over there. We shouldn't look at the qualifications. Let me have a quick look. Because, of course, it was Jeffrey Decker who was actually... Yeah, I do get the qualifications. Here it is. Now we see the right results. We see Jeffrey Decker on the second position. Michael on the third. Piedmont Broughton, nice position. Won the big match against all Peters. And is number 4. Peter Nordwell on the number 5th position. And Mike Bowers was fighting all the way and came to number 6th position. And here we have the complete list. What an awesome race was this.
It really was. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to call. It was a lot of fun to see you guys in putting all those comments in there. We do love reading them. We wish we had a bigger audience watching because it is so much fun to have some sort of interaction with the folks that are watching. And I'm hoping that, like, for example, you, Miss Sarah, when you ask us to do things, they get done right away because, Chris needs to be told these things.
All right, let's see if we can get some people in. We do have Jonathan Dockery, which we were looking at. He didn't qualify. How did his race go? Jonathan, are you with us here in the booth? Currently, we can't hear him right now. Oh, we see Jonathan, are you right here?
I had me muted, but I'm here now.
Oh,
Jonathan,
yes, we hear
can you put your volume a little bit more up?
Oh, this is as loud as my stuff gets. So.
All right. Well, we're gonna work with it. Jonathan, tell us a little bit about your race. You didn't qualify. What's up with that?
So all I can say about that is, and Ian's the steward or manager of the league. So all I'm gonna say is, as far as my opinion, sometimes doing the right thing isn't doing the right thing, and so I chose not to qualify to clear that penalty for next week.
Oh yeah. I think that's a smart
Where I'm at with
tactic.
it.
And how did your race go? We saw you a couple of times coming into pit. See you a lot of times in the back. Is it just forget about this race and looking forward to the next one?
Yep. I talked with Carl and I told him that the plan was just not to qualify and ride around the back. I didn't fight with anybody, so.
No, it's an interesting. So how is it going with your racing school? I know that you had a lot of people coming for some advice on you. How is that going?
A lot of people signed up, and we help who asks, and whoever doesn't ask, we assume they're okay. So it's going okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're off to Imola next week, and that'll be fun. But I wanted to drop in and say thank you for all you all do. Chris isn't here, but he had an awesome stock car races. Congrats to him for winning his race by like 14 seconds or so.
Yeah, no, he did, and he's now on a well-deserved holiday. Great, Jonathan, that you always come in the booth. If it's a good result or a bad result, we always see you over here, and we love your opinion. So thank you for joining. We do have one more person up here who had an interesting race. We have Leo up here in the booth. Our victory for this moment.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, sorry. Thank you, Jonathan. Leo, you're here in the booth. Congratulations with your victory. Tell us a little bit about the fight that you had with Jeffrey all race long.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a great battle. We were together the entire time, nose to tail. The little mistakes that we had, we kept it clean. We didn't touch each other. We didn't go off road too much. It was quite amazing. I had a great time.
So, what do you think, from your perspective, happened in the second pit stop? Because we saw you guys the whole time. You were in the front, and suddenly you were a little bit behind Jeffrey.
Oh yeah, this is my second time doing pit stops. I didn't know that I was supposed to short fuel myself, so I just got a full tank of gas like I did in the practice race.
All right. Well, that's it did work out for you, because then you had to fight back and come back to the part. So that was an awesome race, and you were really waiting for that last lap, I think, to pass him or to make that move.
Yeah, I think I had a good enough run. I forget exactly where. I felt comfortable enough that I had a good enough run. I think after turn 1 going into turn 2, and I just went with it and made it stick, and he also made it stick too, and we went through the next corner side by side, and then I got him into the next corner. Yeah, it was really crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now while you guys go side by side in that corner. And yeah, that was an awesome move that you guys made. Really thankful for such a great race. We also have the winner of the Pete race. Let's bring in Pete Broughton. Pete, thank you for joining here in the broadcast. You had a long race and a hard battle. How was it for you?
I am gonna have to dip into the towel budget again, man. This is getting a little obscene. I am drenched.
Yeah, that's gotta be crazy. I think we were looking at one point. It was really the Pete show, and even like the Pete quest. Who is gonna be the winner of it? But you guys just kept going on, and it was Peter Notwell, Peter Miller, then Mike Bowers, who was a little bit the strange duck between all the Petes. But you gotta be drenched. It was an awesome race to see. Any tactics, because you went in a little bit earlier in the pit stops?
I did. So there's a lot of aggression going on ahead of me early on, and I knew I didn't have the pace to be running laps on my own and wait for them to go in. So I had to try to rely on see if I could, jump a few positions, get some better track position, maybe find someone who's looking to cruise a little bit better, go for that early pit stop, and see if I could get lucky when it comes around at the second pit stop. And it worked out okay. We jumped a few on the first pit stop and came out in the top 5 after the second, and were able to bring it home.
Yeah, I actually thought that you were going to run away, but then they came back, and then it was just from that moment on, it was just fighting the whole time.
Yeah. I had a big wiggle in T9. I had a 1.6 second advantage with 4 to go, and I just couldn't keep it together. And I lost over a second in that really sharp T9 T10, and then it was time for that West Side Story knife fight that we've come to know and love here.
Oh, it was so much fun to watch. It was the Pete show.
It definitely was, and I do have to say, Pete, you were coming on top of that. I'd always want to ask you, because you're a racer for many seasons, always in the top, but you were out last season, and now you're back in. How much difference is there in the league, and how much do you have to adapt again to bring yourself up to the top?
The underpinnings of the league haven't changed. That's why everybody keeps coming back season after season. What does change is the margin for error gets smaller and smaller. We used to talk about the top 5 being on pace, then the top 10. Now we're talking about there's a second between the top 35 on some weeks. It's just every little error gets a little bit more punishing. It's really fun to watch guys mature their racing and their racecraft and their pace over the seasons, and that's what I'm jumping back into.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we've seen a lot of new people, but we also see immediately the league mentality. This was a very clean race. I know that the stewards are watching, and I don't think they're going to have that much work to do. I haven't seen many incidents. We do also have the number 2 up here, Jeffrey Decker. Jeffrey, can you say something about your fight with Leo?
What fight? I was just following him and looking at the beautiful sights because I had no chance.
Well, and then suddenly you did, because you came out of that pit stop, and you were gone. You had 2.5 seconds lead. What was that about?
No, I was kind of just planning on hoping to have a better pit stop that second one, and then just hope for magic, basically, and that worked out. But yeah, I mean, my outlap was a little, my 2 outlaps were a little slow from there, because it was the first time all race that I had clear track ahead of me. So I was like, I have to find new markers for everything. And then by then, Leo is filling up the rear view. So, yeah, when he got up to me, I mean, I didn't want to put up too much of a fight. I figured it's more counterproductive to try to keep him behind, and then I can just kind of hope that I can get the draft at the right place on the last lap and maybe make the pass. And I just didn't quite have the run on the last lap to make it happen. So I was pretty happy with P2 and the gap we had, to be honest. I knew Leo was stupid quick all week. So yeah, to come P2 to him is basically like winning.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see what you mean by that. We've seen him, because I think on Wednesday he was already quick. Leo, how do you do that? What do you practice, or what do you eat to be this quick?
I mean, it's just a lot of hard work. I mean, I look at videos, I look at telemetry, I look at inspiration from other drivers, other top drivers, and everything around me, and I just practice. Nothing much more than that.
Well, it's great to see you here in the league, fighting today with Jeffrey. It was an awesome fight to see, and you could see that Leo was a lot quicker in the end. So I think justified to take this victory home and to celebrate it with your family. Talking about that, do you have any shout-outs that you want to do?
Just shout out to all the people that invited me to the league. Barry, Steve, Jonathan, Joshua, everybody. Everybody's been very nice and very welcoming, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I know, it's definitely thank you for being up here, and
Leo,
immediately.
this is your first official Sunday night Skippy race, right?
Yes, before I start my new job tomorrow, so yes.
See, look at this. Leo shows up, wins the first race. I'm telling you, man, this guy's a force.
Jeffrey, I'm not sure, but is that allowed in this league? Can you
I don't know,
just do
yeah.
that?
We're probably just gonna have to kick him. I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is amazing to see, and it's good to see Piep and Broughton back in this season as well. Want to thank you for really driving a lot of discussions in Discord. Always have fun to hear your opinion about this, but now also to see you driving. So that's going to continue, and we are going to miss you in the booth, Pete.
Yep, and I'll be dropping by to visit, of course, and just wanted to give a quick shout out to Mrs. Pete, my wife, and Micro Pete, sitting over in the room here. They all gathered around the big screen tonight with some family friends to watch the broadcast, and if what I'm hearing over the roar, the mighty roar of that Skippy V, whatever that is, lawnmower engine, sounds like you guys did a hell of a job. So thanks for everything you guys do too.
Awesome. Well, Peter, I'm glad that we could give you your family this. We're going to forget about Long Beach, and we're going to think about Snetterton. Family of Pete, this is the real thing what you need to come and watch, because Pete did a hell of a show, and I want to thank you for all your driving.
Yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Jeffrey, do you have any last shout outs or any last thoughts?
No, just actually, yes. I always say nah, and then I give shout outs, which makes no sense. But yeah, shout out to my wife as always for letting me do the races. To you guys for keeping the broadcast going this week in Smurl's absence. It's always a pleasure watching these back. And then shout out to Leo also for raising the bar in the league. Now we have something to aim for and try to figure out how the heck he's doing what he's doing. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
No, definitely. Leo, any last words for you as a race winner, first time race winner immediately? Congratulations. Any last words from you?
No, thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope we can do it again soon.
All right. We'll see you next Sunday here at the Sunday Skippy League. Ian, thank you so much for joining me in the broadcast up here. Always great to hear you. I know that you always do the Saturday morning, the V. I always love to watch those broadcasts. So if you don't watch those at home, please go and have a look. Ian can do this all by himself. But I'm glad you were here, because I couldn't have done it without you.
It's always a lot of fun. We had a great race to watch. The camera work is getting better by leaps and bounds. I know that we're working on that. So the product that we're dumping to the hundreds of 3 people that watch it, is, I think, getting better every week. It's so much fun to be able to see these during the week and sort of watch what's going on. I think the whole broadcast team over the Formula V and the Skippies, and of course now, what are you doing? Is it rough racing? Or Rust Racing?
Well, no. We're actually doing the BRL. Big shout out for the BRL League. We're doing over there the oval race where Chris Small is actually driving in the morning. We have some overlaps over here with drivers. Very fun to see that.
Yeah. So I think that the broadcaster we're doing is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's so much fun to see how it moves forward. I can't wait to see what we get up to in another season. When we're almost at the end of this one. I mean, where are we? Week? I don't even know where we're at.
Week 8. We still have 4 races to go, so there is a lot of things to play for. I do want to mention in our broadcast team, you mentioned we do have Jake Ashe, who made the music that we're listening to, and it's awesome that he could provide that, and we could use this for our broadcast. So big shout out for Jake Ashe on that wall. And then also don't forget about Joe Zubo, who made all the Formula 1 standings and keeps us up to date on what is exactly going on. And really amazing to work in a team like this. We're hoping that we can level with Chris on a lot of things. There's a lot of hard work this session, but enjoyed it a lot. So I'm ready to get a drink. Ian, want to thank you very much, and let's see each other next week.
Yes, in Imola. We're going to be in Italy.
Right.
Imola next week, followed by Nürburgring, the Nürburgring Grand Prix, and we're ending up in Long Beach, the city of walls.
All right, I hope the family of Pete is not looking anymore. We're not doing Long Beach, guys. Don't watch that one. But have fun for the rest and have a great weekend or a great week.
Yes.